Have you ever wondered what it's like to cycle across two continents with nothing but an average bike and a tent? Well, I did it. I solo cycled from Italy to China, covering over 12,000 kilometers in 5 months. I had no fixed route, no fancy gear, and no clue what I was getting to. In this video, I'll share you with you my amazing adventures and the challenges I faced along the way. So how did this crazy adventure start? Well, it all began on a sunny morning in March, when I packed my bike and said goodbye to my home. I just got to Slovenia and I'm just outside of Nova Gorica. Yesterday I set the tent and now I'm ready to go. I've been riding uphill all morning long. I just cycled 15 kilometers and it took me like 5 hours. Oh man, I'm done. I've just asked the owners if they let me camp here. They say yeah, and tomorrow morning they're giving me some water. What a lucky day. I'm at the border with Croatia and I hope they let me pass because there are only trucks and cars here. Yeah, Google Maps sent me to the wrong route. This one leads to the highway. Now I gotta go to the other border checkpoint, which is 500 meters far. Here it is. I've got to Zagabria. Today was a bad day. I had some problem with the stove. Apparently the gasoline was dirty. Then I cleaned the stove and it worked, but then the lighter stopped working. So now basically it's like I have no stove. Now I'm eating milk and cereals and then I add some croissant in it. There's a ton of trucks stuck here because of the border. I'm in Serbia. It's dry and empty. There's nothing here. Everybody's mistrustful. They're closed and cold. Serbians are cold. Or maybe just here or near the border. Yeah, man. Hi. That's the Danube River. I just don't get why here in Serbia it's all uphill and there in Romania it's all flat. This dude just wrote his phone number on every wall, so if you need a taxi, just go slap. I've just realized I forgot a part of the stove in the field where I slept yesterday. So now I'm gonna order one online and get him some hostel in Bucharest. But now I can use this stove for a few days. Oh, I'm so distracted. Finally, after having cycled more than 130 kilometers along the Danube River, I got to Romania! Every time I have to stop because of dogs. Oh, don't worry, don't worry.
You want some food?
Oh no, I have already.
Sarmale.
Sarmale. What is sarmale?
No. Yeah, this.
This is the first time I see so many villas here in Romania, all in the same town. Tonight I'm camping here in a broccoli field, I guess. I'm cleaning the ground before setting the tent. Oh, come on! I got the missing part of the stove here at the hostel. Here we go. The wind is really strong. Yesterday I decided to camp earlier because there was such a strong wind that it was useless to keep cycling. I cycle only 3 kilometers in 1 hour. I hope for today to be better, but no. Still a strong headwind, obviously. That's the Danube River. Uphills here in Moldova are really tough. And the problem is that there are only uphills here. I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but it's probably 15% steep. I don't know if I should laugh or cry. Uphill with a headwind. At least it's not raining. The Black Sea. My original plan was to cycle from Odessa, in Ukraine, to Kazakhstan, in a straight line. But there was a problem. The war in the Donbas region had closed all the borders there. I thought I could go through Crimea instead, but when I asked for the permit, they just said "Niet" and turned me away. They only let people with relatives in Crimea to go there. So I had no choice but to take a detour and go north to Russia first and then south again. That added 500 kilometers to my route. I gotta hurry up because there's a thunderstorm coming. I've already seen some lightning. Told you, I'm cooking, I have to eat fast and then clean the dishes. And that's it. I got a mascot. It started raining for 10 days in a row. One evening, I was looking for a motel to dry up and rest. but I couldn't find one. Everything was closed or out of business. Then a minibus driver stopped by and asked me if I needed help. I was exhausted and my tent and sleeping bag were totally soaked. He told me he could take me to a motel 30 kilometers away. I was so grateful that I agreed. That was one of the 2 times I broke my rule of cycling all the way. Finally, I reached the border between Ukraine and Russia. Yesterday I had a crazy experience. I was cycling near the Ukrainian border, looking for a shortcut. I stopped in a town to buy some food when an old man asked me if I was a tourist. I said yes, and he called the police on me. They took me to the station and interrogated me for hours. I had no idea what I did wrong. 7 hours later, it was getting dark and I asked to camp, but they wouldn't let me. Then one officer offered me a room in the station. I agreed, thinking it was a nice gesture. But when we got there, it turned out to be the jail cell. I couldn't believe it. It was so ridiculous that I happily accepted. I spent the night in jail and the next morning they released me with no charges. They made me sign a bunch of papers and told me to stay away from the border zone. Apparently, only locals were allowed there. I was glad to be free again, but I learned my lesson. Don't stay too close to borders. I found the dinner. Fortunately, I have a good tailwind, otherwise I would get nowhere today. A fake police car. Oh, that's brilliant.
2 недели. 2 недели. Завчера еще 14.
Нет.
Раз.
И...
14.
окей.
14.
The people in Central Asia were the kindest and most welcoming I've ever met. Even though some of them had very little for themselves, they still insisted on offering me something. I tried to decline many times, but they got really angry. They considered it an insult to reject their generosity. It made me think a lot. Why do we struggle so much to be more nice with each other?
Okay.
Francesco, siz Toshkentga, Toshkentga.
Toshkent. Video. A video?
Video.
Oh.
Oi.
I was nearing the city of Urumqi, but it was getting dark and I needed to camp. The police told me it was not safe to camp in that area, so they drove me all the way to the city 70 kilometers away. That was the second time I broke my rule of cycling all the way. Crossing the desert in the Xinjiang region was one of the toughest parts of my journey. I had to cycle more than 180 kilometers sometimes to find a place where I could get water, like a gas station or a restaurant. The temperature sometimes soared above 50 degrees. One morning I woke up with a strange pain in my belly and blood in my urine. I was scared, but I decided to keep going. I wanted to leave the desert behind. Thankfully, the pain and the symptoms faded away after a week. When I returned home, I found out that I had kidney stones. Along the way I met another traveler, Graham, from England. We cycled together for a couple of days, then our routes divided since he was headed north to Mongolia. This was the end of my journey. I spent 4 days in Shanghai before flying back home. During my travel, I couldn't wait to finish it, but on my last day, I felt a surge of sadness. I realized that I was going to miss something that had become very important to me. I decided to take one last ride on my bicycle before the flight. I cycled to the ocean, so I could say that I had done it all the way. If you like my video, please consider making a donation. I'll leave the link in the description below. Thank you all so much.